Hey, Cat!
Shut up, I'm busy.
So this is technically part 3 of the Nora Dershlit trilogy. Here on the channel we have discussed both other parts, I, Psycho and I, Still Psycho, but now it's time to finish what iCarly started within the spin-off show of both that and Victorious, Sam and Cat. The last time we spoke about Nora, she was heading back to prison, this time with her family after kidnapping the iCarly crew for a second time and torturing Spencer in their basement. Nora's turned into quite the villain over the past 2 parts, but what's a good set of darker episodes without a proper third part to it? So today, let's talk about #Super Psycho, an episode within Sam and Cat that finishes off Nora's villain arc. Or does it? Before we jump into all this here, I just wanted to thank you all so much for the continued support on my videos and the channel. I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch them, and leave a like as it helps out the video very much. You all are amazing. So while babysitting, Sam is asked a barrage of questions pertaining to her iCarly days by this kid. He even mentioned the cowboy and the idiot farm girl routine, which has now been a running gag for each episode relating to Nora, which is cool to see that the tradition wasn't missed here. While reminiscing about certain events that the iCarly crew has been through, she starts looking back onto the times that they were all kidnapped by Nora. This then cuts to Nora in prison, who is shown to have only been building up her hatred for the iCarly crew, with posters of them saying vengeance, destroy, anger, torture, revenge, and oh yeah, hate, hate, and hate, collaged on a cage fence while she is working out. Her chicken, Maurice, ends up distracting the guard watching her, as she then attacks the guard Megan style with a bucket.
Why was your door under my bucket?
And smashes her head into the concrete. Geez, at least they show that she's still alive after that. Oh, barely. She ends up escaping prison and is now ready for revenge on the iCarly crew. She also has a tattoo of Maurice. Not important, just thought it was interesting. Thanks to the news report, we also find out that she was sentenced for 5 years in prison after the second kidnapping a couple years ago. Gibby makes a return here as well, as we see him going out to a movie with his date, only for Nora to run into him saying she's not here to harm Gibby, and in Gibby fashion is completely chill with everything going on. And for whatever reason, he thinks it's fine to just give Nora Sam's new address. We then cut back to Sam out to dinner with Cat while Nora is in full disguise watching over them. Dice, a friend of Sam and Cat, comes in to help Sam with something she needed, that being acquiring a Mexican driver's license. I'm not here to explain that. And this is where Nora takes note that Dice is someone close to Sam and maybe the right target to go after to get Sam's attention. Outside of the restaurant, Nora plots a scheme to trick Dice into helping her put a kayak into the back of her car, and once Dice crawls into the back while helping, she locks him in and drives away, all done in the creepiest way possible. At this point, after spending 2 years in jail already, when we've already celebrated her 16th birthday, she's well over 18 now. And yes, she's actually kidnapping, well, a kid. I guess you can't take the kidnapping ways out of Nora after all. It's just in her blood. Noticing Dice's disappearance, Gibby calls Sam to inform her that Nora escaped prison and lets her know that she has her new address in Los Angeles. Thanks, Gibby. A strange knock at the door occurs and we see Nora run off from the front door. Upon opening said door, Sam and Cat find a note on their doorstep from Nora saying exactly what she has done. Then Sam's phone rings from an unknown number and surprise, surprise, it's Nora explaining what she is going to do to Dice, causing Sam to resort to drastic measures to 1, rescue her friend, and 2, get revenge back on Nora, once and for all. Sam and Cat venture to a special hospital to visit none other than longtime reoccurring iCarly antagonist Neville Pepperman. He's had his fair share of plots and schemes to take down iCarly in the past, but is currently in the hospital due to a dangerous virus that he has contracted. It's called porcupox. It's like chickenpox, but from a porcupine. This whole setup is clearly a homage to Silence of the Lambs. And also this guy right here playing the doctor also played the doctor in Silence of the Lambs. Even Crazy Steve is here. Neat. Little side note, that's actually just reused audio from Drake and Josh. In fact, this whole Nora trilogy has contained so many references to many unsettling films like the aforementioned Silence of the Lambs, The Shining, Cape Fear, and much, much more. It's very tongue-in-cheek with the references, which makes it endearing in a way that if you know the references being shown, you might just get a little extra enjoyment out of it. Due to Neville's intelligence, Sam figures that in a desperate measure, he might be able to help in any way, shape, or form. That form comes in the style of him noticing a certain sauce stain on the note given being donkey sauce. Sam figures out that the only place that serves donkey sauce is Aloha Burger, and Neville explains that if he was kidnapped, he might be in one of the abandoned houses around the area of Aloha Burger. How does he know this? Well, he's studying for his junior real estate license. How he knows so many other details regarding this information is essentially for the art of this parody. He's basically supposed to be like Hannibal Lecter, who knows the mind of a criminal. Use a criminal to catch a criminal type of thing. Anyway, just like the show, let's gloss over a lot of that and get right into the more intense stuff. While looking for the correct house, Sam and Kat are kind of split up trying to find out which house may contain Nora and Dice. Kat ends up finding the right abandoned house, and Nora recognizes her as one of Sam's friends and tosses her down the concrete well in the middle of the house's basement, just like Buffalo Bill. Dice is down the well as well. Get it? Well, okay, I'm sorry for that. Nora is consistent of two things: kidnapping and trapping people in basements.
Well. Get it? You guys are down in a well?
Hey, I just made that joke. I guess she's good at three things. Add joke thief to the list.
Technically, the episode did it first.
Well, that's a very fair point. Anyway, Sam arrives in Sam fashion and quickly threatens to kill and eat Nora's chicken Maurice if she doesn't let her friends go safely. But Nora wants to make a different deal and offers a challenge to Sam. They have to go toe-to-toe in a fight. Nora, as shown earlier, has been working out in prison and is ready for Sam this time, as opposed to getting slammed into a table again. If Sam wins, Nora will let Kat and Dice free. If Nora wins, well, Sam has to get in the well as well. Still not funny? Okay, anyway. So another Nora story ending in a big fight. However, this one is short-lived, as when Nora, with all of this built up of her getting in shape and ready for the fight, goes in for a kick, and Sam, being Sam, grabs her foot and tosses her down the well. Nora is arrested once more and thrown into maximum security prison, but there's a little fun stinger at the end of this for Neville. Somehow he has escaped from the hospital and calls Sam to let her know that he is having a friend for dinner. Another homage to Silence of the Lambs. And it shows Gibby sitting next to Neville, and yes, he's holding the 3D printed model of his head again. I wonder if Noah Monk ever got to keep that. What's cool is that Neville will return in the iCarly revival to most likely wreak havoc on Carly and friends, and maybe finally make them rue the day. Whoa, Jordan, relax there. Hey everyone, Jordan from the future here. So I actually wrote this video right before episode 5 of the iCarly revival came out. That episode features Neville. I've actually already discussed it in a whole video here on the channel if you want to check it out. There it is. I'll also link it down below. So yeah, Neville's already made his return. I have opinions on it. Go check out that video. Okay, back to this video. Okay, bye. But this was a fun episode of Sam and Kat that, while involving the new characters, it really relies heavily on previous knowledge of iCarly characters and storylines from that show. It was nice to see how interconnected these shows are because of Sam and Kat, which heavily would feature appearances from Victorious and iCarly characters periodically to flesh out the shared world that they live in. While it may not particularly be a great Sam and Kat episode in the sense of it being about Sam and Kat and their own stories, it was a solid finish to the Nora trilogy that gave us one more round with one of the most interesting characters created for these shows' universe. While we have already talked about the iCarly revival here on the channel, and we know that Nora has already made her return, we know that she's doing better after prison and therapy, but she's already getting back into some of her old habits. She's not completely returned to her younger villain-esque ways yet. Who knows, even though we've already had our trilogy of evil with her, and just like what happened to iCarly, a revival of the Psycho is still possible. But what do you think? Will Nora have a real plotline in the new iCarly series of her continuing her reign of evil, or will she just be relegated to some cameo bits and jokes here and there? As well as let me know your thoughts on the Psycho series in general, which part was your personal favorite, as well as which part you thought was the darkest out of the three. I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Please leave a like, as it truly does help out the video, and I really do appreciate it very much. Subscribe to be a part of my journey through movies and television and how these films and shows affected my life from the past and present. As always, I will see you soon with another video, but until then, later.